What is going on, you guys, and welcome back to another video. So this week I'm actually going to talk to you guys a little bit more on kind of how I decided to actually quit my corporate job. If you're new here, my name is Rachel, and a few months ago, I want to say like April or May, I think it was so it was early May, I was employed at Morgan Stanley. And having that background from UCLA of being in economics, that's just kind of where I thought my life would go. I didn't really have any other, I didn't know what else there was for my future other than like a desk job. And I think that's part of the reason why I was like really confused, is because our education system is seriously based off of simply just going into a corporate life setting and more of like a desk-bound setting. With that being said, I left that job after 6 months. It was a really short time frame, but honest to God, I feel as though I've aged so much in the 6 months that I was there, because maybe it's just me, but I feel like I'm getting arthritis on my right pinky because I was typing for so long. And then also on top of that, my eyesight has also significantly gotten worse. Sometimes I'm not able to see the difference between like a 5 and a 6. It's just like little things that you probably wouldn't even notice until you're actually like realizing like, oh my God, for example, my lower back was absolutely killing me. And it's because I was like in a rounded shoulder and head forward position for 8 to 9 hours in a day. And with everything that I know now, because of the things that I've learned over the course of the last couple of months, and honestly even the last couple of weeks, I have seriously gotten so much more knowledge like right underneath my belt, tucked in. I'm gonna whip it out for you. Right now though, we are only going to talk about mainly just kind of like tips on how to figure out if you are in a position to actually leave your corporate setting. So I actually have my phone right here handy. I wrote down some notes just because like I feel like I'll be more impactful that way, so I don't just kind of like sit and stare at the camera, you know, like the whole efficiency portion of it. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. So for me, I still don't know which way, like when I'm editing, if it slides left or it slides right, so I have to take like 2 different kinds of takes because I don't know if it's left or right. We are going to look at those clips right now. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and get started. And we're back. I hope you enjoyed my awkwardness because editing it is pretty fun. See, a little awkwardness right here. All right, let's go ahead and seriously like just get started right now. So with like leaving the corporate setting, I was really scared, right? Like a lot of people are. If you're watching this, maybe you're thinking of leaving your corporate setting, or you're kind of like deliberating, what am I doing with my life? Is this really the right job for me, the position, etc. So we're gonna dive right in, and I'm going to give you 4 of like the main things that really changed my mind, okay? So first things first, I want you to assess your feelings. For example, are you actually creating a bad environment because you have like such negative behavior and a bad mindset about like basically your situation? Or are you really put in a situation in which you are actually like, you feel like you don't have any purpose waking up, you don't have any fulfillment by the end of the day? Because quite honestly, that's exactly where I was at. I didn't think it was that big of a deal at the beginning, and then the more I realized it, the more I guess aware I became of my environment, my setting. I started questioning like so many different things, like, oh my God, is this really what I actually want to do? What the hell am I doing here, kind of thing. For me, I actually cried a lot, like a handful of times coming off of work. I didn't feel like I felt like I didn't make an impact in anyone's lives, just because for me, I really like talking to people. I really like communicating with people, and I like hearing your story and like how you got here. What is it that put you on this path to the point where I would be talking to you and we would be having this conversation. Like, it's just so weird because I really enjoyed that kind of conversation. And when I was over there at my previous position, it was kind of like, hi, thank you for calling company. And I don't know, it was kind of like more of like a internship position, like an intern level, even though it was kind of like a starter's. Not to say that I'm ungrateful, like I'm not even kidding. I'm so blessed to be able to have gone through that experience of just kind of seeing where I was at and like reassessing everything and then being able to leave that job. So what I'm getting at is, it's not that I was ungrateful of the experience. I'm very, very grateful because it's something that I realize that I don't want to do. So then it puts me on the right path to figure out what I actually do want to do. Another one is like, are you miserable? Do you feel like you're stuck in a position in which like you don't really generate any meaning to life? Are you kind of, I wouldn't say like depressed. I think everyone just kind of like throws that word around nowadays. And I think you have to use that word really carefully. And just you have to assess like your feelings. Okay, are you miserable? Do you come home from work crying? Or do you subconsciously come home to your loved ones or call them on the phone, text them, and just almost put your burden onto them without taking into account what they possibly had to go through throughout that entire day. For me, I didn't do that. I didn't take into account what people were going through. It was kind of like, oh my God, here is my baggage. Let me just dump it all over you. And that's kind of how I was going about the situation. It was really bad. I didn't even notice it until, I actually don't even know how I noticed it. I wouldn't ever come off of work happy. So like I said, the first thing you have to do is you have to reassess your feelings. You have to kind of notice your environment just a little bit. What makes you really unhappy with this position? What makes you want to go into it to begin with? And then see if you yourself in your mind are creating that bad environment, or seriously, this is not the right path for you. And at the very least, you realize what you don't want, so it's closer to get you to what you actually do want. Second thing I super recommend is like actually understanding and listing out like the pros and cons. And this could be like, you could probably just do it very general, like, okay, pro is, I don't know, work is close to home. Con is maybe you don't have a coworker that you enjoy, stuff like that. Make it like pretty surface level, and then you have to dig in and dig deep. Ask yourself those hard questions. For example, are you willing and actually able to leave that corporate setting, to leave that steady income and that steady cash that comes into your bank account? Are you able to actually can you fathom pursuing something at such a high risk level? Because we all know, right? High risk, high reward. But at the same time, you got to understand whether you are able to take that high risk to get that high reward. If you are bogged down by, for example, student loans or mortgage payments or car loans, maybe you have like an entire family to feed, like you have young children, you need to feed them, your husband is a stay-at-home husband, and you really aren't generating any passive income, then at that point, maybe determine and talk to your loved one, assess if you can actually leave that setting. Another one is really sitting down and understanding that being an entrepreneur, or whatever it is, maybe you're trying to become an entrepreneur, or maybe you're just going to a different job, or that maybe has a pay cut, but you'll also increase your level of happiness. Or it could be both, you know what I mean? But are you able as an entrepreneur to mentally get ready for the fact that you're not going to have a steady income the first couple of days, the first couple of months, the first couple of years, maybe, you know what I mean? Everyone comes at their own pace, and I think that's exactly what I've been having issues understanding and realizing, and I'm still working on it. But it is the fact that sometimes you absolutely cannot compare your success to someone else's success. You see this all the time in fitness, right? For example, when you first go into the gym, right? That is your page one, and you don't feel very confident, your shoulders aren't like down and back, you don't have good posture, you don't have good form, but you're trying. And then on the flip side, you see this like aesthetically great looking person next to you. That's like their page 50 or 500 or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like, it is so relatable to fitness. Don't compare yourself to someone else because you don't know the struggles that they've had to go through. You don't know how long it's taken them. Like, you just don't know. So just be mentally ready for that. And also, like, really highly recommend putting a list of pros and cons. It's so simple, but I swear it totally works. Oh my God. Also, as a side note, on my little water bottle that I have over here, I have this sticker that I found at my previous position. And I was like, if that doesn't describe the way that I feel right now, oh my God. Number 3, do you have a plan B? Massive, you guys. Like, you can't just quit your job and not know what you are going to do. Maybe it's just a vague picture, a broad picture of what you want to do. Maybe it's kind of like, oh, I want to be an entrepreneur, but I don't know what to be an entrepreneur in. You know what I mean? So have that step-by-step process so that you can actually work towards those goals. Maybe while you're still in the corporate setting, highly recommend that. But if it's too much for you to mentally handle and that stress of that job, you just really, really dislike it, then at that point, I would still make sure, like, regardless, you need to have that step-by-step picture. You can't just go ahead and like quit. You know what I mean? Like, as humans, we need to have goals in life so that we can progress and progress. Not being able to have a step-by-step process, or at least someone to guide you there, will probably be detrimental for yourself. For example, for me, I decided to hire a business coach because I knew that I wanted to be in the fitness industry, but I didn't necessarily know how to go about it. I didn't know how to kind of market. I'm not an expert at it, but every day is a learning process. I'm learning new things every day. I'm literally like a sponge and I soak things up, but you really need to have that ability to be able to work towards your step-by-step plan. With me, I did have a business coach while I was at my previous workplace, just so I can make my transition to being an office worker, an employee, to being an employer. It just made that transition a little more smooth. And last one, I know it's like 4, it's not top 3 tips, top 5 tips. It's literally smack, stops at 4. But the 4th tip that I do have, this is something that I seriously struggle with. And that is, are you living in someone else's perception of yourself? Like, do you care so much about what other people think? Do you not want to disappoint them? Do you care about other people's opinions and approvals so much that they taint the way that you want to create your future? That you taint it into thinking that that is what you want. And that doesn't necessarily mean that people around you who have said, oh, okay, you'd be so good at, I don't know, math or engineering or biology, kinesiology, whatever, English, writing, whatever. That doesn't mean that they were pressuring you. It could be, but not all the time. And I think we all need to realize the fact that the people that love us, that are trying to push us towards that, are more paving a path so that we don't feel so lost. You know, college is a learning experience. You don't have to go to college, but I'm just saying college was definitely like a learning experience for me. I thought that I wanted to go into biomedical engineering. Yeah, because I wanted to be an anesthesiologist before, like in 2014. Realized I was pretty bad at bio. Seriously, I had no interest in it. So I switched over and I went to economics and accounting. I found like an interest in it. It really did spark an interest for me because it's just so interesting the way that the markets work, the way that our economy works, and how, like, I don't know, the interest rate of banks affect the way, or the interest rate of feds, whether you're increasing or decreasing it, affects the way that banks operate, which affects the way that we operate. Kind of that in that situation. And because I was a transfer student going into UCLA, almost understanding the dryness that comes with economics, it was interesting to say the least. But I also found my love for fitness, and Honestly, I did not think that I was going to end up being like super into fitness. I never in my life would have thought that I would deem myself as a personal trainer or as like an online coach or anything of that sort. Life is fucking wild and crazy. Anyway, I digress. I really do digress. But something that stopped me for so long was the fact that I was so scared of what other people are going to think, because I went to the #1 public university in the nation and studied economics and accounting to be a personal trainer when I could have just done that right out of high school. Do you know what I'm saying? So that kind of thought process kind of like almost messed with me in a bit. And not only that, but I was scared of like what my own mom would think of me and how it would impact the way that she viewed me. I was scared of my boyfriend's parents being disappointed of me, like his grandparents, and even what people thought of me. And I still struggle with that. I really struggle with caring too much about other people's opinions. And that's something that I really had to work through. I basically had to get approval from the people that I cared about, because I didn't want to make any stupid decisions in my life. It's scary, you guys. Like, it was not easy, that transition. I had a lot to think about. I thought about it for months. I'm pretty sure, how long? Like 3-4 months or something like that. It was crazy. But ultimately, it was my decision. It was on my own time frame of when I decided to quit, when I would be giving them like my notice, basically, and how long I would stay there for. And I stayed there for like a good 5 weeks after I gave my notice, but that's just like a personal preference and like respect. I just want to be able to, I don't like burning bridges, but understanding that like the way that you think, and if you care about other people's opinions and even like your own opinion of yourself, is your ego this far up, and do you need to take it way down, like on the floor, kind of down? That's something that I very, very much struggled with, is the fact that I was stopping myself from pursuing anything other than something in the finance realm. These fireworks are gonna drive me nuts. It is June 30th and I have like another 4 days of this. Yeah, so I hope this helped just a little bit. I know that that transition cannot be easy. Your thought process are probably like all jumbled up together. You don't know what's right, what's wrong, what's up, what's down, what's left or right kind of thing. And it's a process in which takes a lot of time, a lot of patience, and a lot of going back and forth. You're gonna go back and forth between, okay, is this the right decision to make? Am I doing something stupid in my life? Am I gonna end up like in shits, you know, kind of that. You will go through that a lot. There's a lot of highs and lows when it comes to this process, but just know that if you're the type of person that like does not give up, you work hard, you're dedicated, you know what you want to do, and you have an idea of how to do it, as long as you have like those 5 things, that direction, you will be okay. Like, you will be fine. People will still support you. Now that I'm seeing it from like the other side of it, at that time I was like terrified, scared, no freaking way. But breathe, relax, drink lots of water, you know, stay hydrated. You gotta stay hydrated. Take care of yourself a lot, and know that there are going to be highs and lows. But if this is something that you are truly passionate about, if this is something that you want to pursue and you want to get out of the chains of a corporate job, then this is a leap that you need to take. Have faith, have so much faith in yourself that you will be okay at the end of it. And you will be more than okay by the end of it. Like, I feel great, you know, taking a pay cut, but I mean, I'm learning so freaking much. And on top of that, I get to actually talk to people and make an impact on their lives, a difference. Like, it's just so fulfilling. And, you know, the grind never stops, but at the same time, take a deep breath, relax a little bit, and like seriously trust the process. Same thing with fitness. If you're prepping, or if you're wanting to shred down or gain strength, like whatever it may be, you have to trust the process. You have to be patient. It's like, you did not gain 100 pounds in a month. Why do you expect to lose that 100 pounds in a month? Same thing with the burden on your shoulders. You did not like work for only a month maybe at school or something, to get to this company that you so proudly, you express how proud you are about it, you cannot expect that burden to just fall off right off the bat. There's gonna be a tug and pull with anything and everything you do. And with that being said, it's worth it. I promise you it's worth it. So I hope I helped a little bit with those 4 tips. Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of DMs that are coming through my way, and I thought I would make a video out of it just so you guys can kind of work through it a little more. And if you have any questions, like, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always down to help you guys. I love starting conversation. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this type of video. And if you did, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up. It really helps my channel a lot, and it makes me know that you actually enjoy what I'm putting out there. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button with that little notification bell up top. And I will see you in the next video. So stay tuned. If you guys have any suggestions, leave it down in the comment section or hit up my Instagram and send me like a quick little DM. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I said that like probably 3 or 4 or maybe a dozen times, I don't know, but I really hope you guys enjoyed it. That's probably 4 or 5. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.